Hey everybody, it's Tom from Show Me Coasters, and today we're bringing you the 17 coasters at Cedar Point. So at number 17 we have Wilderness Run. Wilderness Run is their kiddie coaster. It was built by Intamin in 1979. This is the first coaster that Intamin ever built, and it's kind of what launched their whole empire. At number 16, we have Woodstock Express. Woodstock Express is another kids coaster in the Camp Snoopy section. It was built in 1999 by Vekoma. It's a steel coaster. It's actually a pretty decent little ride. It's got a little bit of height to it, some good airtime hills, and some great banks. At number 15, we have Blue Streak. Blue Streak is the oldest operating coaster at the park. It was built in 1964 by Philadelphia Toboggan Company. It's a great ride for a little wooden coaster. I've learned to really appreciate the woodies over the last few years. It's a little rough, yeah, it shakes you pretty good, but it's a fun ride. At number 14, we have Cedar Creek Mine Ride, which is the park's mine train. It was built by Aerodynamics in 1969, so it's the second oldest operating coaster at Cedar Point. It's a good little ride. I mean, it's a mine train. They tend to be kind of rough, and it can rattle you around a bit. But this one had great theming, and I really enjoyed it.
There like a it used to be like a beam, like boat ride. Oh wow, all the train. We haven't done the meeting. We need to do the plane sometimes. Oh, I look way too tall. Oh my god. Woo!
Ow, that hurt. Oh.
Whoa!
Whiplash! I was not ready for that whatsoever.
Oh no.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Yeah, this is actually pretty smooth.
Ow, ow. I take that back. Ow. It's kind of smooth, but like, oh, the shark hurt. Ow.
The mine train in New York's rougher.
I thought we broke for a minute.
Yeah, the mine train in New York is a lot rougher.
We ain't making up a hill. Howdy. Look at all this river. Green water. That's it? We're back to the station?
No.
Oh, God.
Fuck your mind.
Oh.
Hang on.
Owie.
Oh, my legs.
Oh, God.
This is gonna hurt.
Oh, God. Called it. You called it. But ow. It was fun.
That was fun.
It's fun, but it's painful.
And at number 13, we have Corkscrew. Corkscrew was originally built in 1976 by Arrow. It was the first steel coaster that had 3 inversions, and it was the first coaster to span a midway. It's a good ride. It's rough. It is definitely rough, but the Corkscrew is really cool, especially when you're standing off the ride and you get to see the train coming at you through the corkscrew. At number 12, we have Gemini. Gemini was built by Aerodynamics in 1978. It's a dueling racing coaster, the tubular steel track on a wooden frame. I was really surprised at how smooth this ride was and how fun it was. It was a great ride. At number 11, we have Iron Dragon. This was the Aerodynamics suspended coaster where you hang from the gondolas. I've ridden several of these. One at Kings Island, the Bat, and the Vortex at Canada's Wonderland. And I don't think this one is quite as good as those. It's a little too long, I think. It comes to a complete stop, and you have a second lift hill in the middle of the run. To me, that just makes it a little too long. At number 10, we have Magnum XL 200. This was the first ever hypercoaster. It was built in 1989 by Aerodynamics. It's intense. It is an intense ride, but it is rough. It is really painful, I think. A lot of people love this ride. They think it's one of the best that they've ever ridden. Me personally, I prefer something that's a little less intense, maybe. But that's just me. And at number 9, we have Wicked Twister. Wicked Twister is the Intamin Impulse launch coaster that they have here at the park. Currently, it is the tallest and fastest inverted coaster in the world. These were fun. They have one also at Six Flags Great America, and they're pretty fun. They're not too horrible. And at number 8 we have Raptor, which is the B&M inverted coaster. It was built in 1994. It had the distinction at that time of being the tallest, longest, and fastest inverted coaster in the world. And it was also the first inverted coaster to ever feature a Cobra roll as well. And it's also a custom layout. It's not the same as the layouts that they used for the Batman rides at the Six Flags parks. But I do like this coaster. It's really intense, I think. The elements are great. I really like the Cobra rolls. You can't go wrong with this, and it has a great sound to it as well whenever you're riding it. And at number 7 we have Rougarou. This was a floorless coaster by B&M, originally built in 1996 as a stand-up coaster called Mantis. At that time it was the tallest, fastest, longest, and steepest stand-up coaster in the world when it opened in 96. Rougarou was opened in 2015 after conversion by B&M. It's a great ride. I always enjoy it whenever I get to ride it. The last time I rode it, though, there was a little bit of headbanging that I was not too thrilled with. At number 6 we have Valraven, which is the B&M dive coaster here at Cedar Point. It was built by B&M and was the tallest, longest, and fastest dive coaster in the world at the time. It will soon be passed by Yukon Striker at Canada's Wonderland in 2019. It's a good ride. It's great. It's intense. And it's smooth as well. I really do enjoy this ride whenever we get to ride it. At number 5, we have Gatekeeper, which is built by B&M and opened in 2013. This is a really fun coaster. We always enjoy riding this when we come to the park. It's smooth, but it also has great elements to it as well. I really enjoy threading the needles as we go over the gate itself. And it's a great first view of the park whenever you come in through the parking lot. And at number 4, we have Top Thrill Dragster. This is the Intamin Stratocoaster. Was the first one that was ever built. It has a top speed of 120 miles an hour, and it goes up to 420 feet. This is a really intense ride, really for only the bravest of souls. At number 3, we have Maverick, which is the Intamin launch coaster. It's an LSM launch. This ride is unique because it's launching 2 trains at the same time out of the station, one at the top and one at the bottom of the station. It's an intense ride. It can be a little rough sometimes. The bank turns whenever they hook back. It's a little painful, but it's not horrible. It's considered one of the best rides here at Cedar Point, and many enthusiasts list this as their number 1 choice for Cedar Point. And at number 2, we have Millennium Force, the Intamin Giga Coaster. This was the first Giga Coaster ever built in 2000. It set the longest, tallest, fastest record in the world at the time. This is a great ride. On the lift hill, you got a great view of the park and of the lake to your left. It's just a great, intense ride. 92 miles an hour, great airtime, and great banked turns as well. And the number 1 coaster at Cedar Point is going to be Steel Vengeance. This is the RMC conversion that just opened this year in 2018. This is such an intense ride. It's incredible how fast this thing is and how intense the elements are on this. RMC really outdid themselves, I think, with this one. This is a great coaster. I don't know that it's my favorite RMC, but it is one of the top ones. I'll give it that. It is way more intense than any other RMC I've ever ridden.